Welcome back to Kimchi Rednecks. So today we're in the kitchen, but we're not cooking for us. I'm actually making dog food. In specifics, I'm making doggy meatballs. So we've been ordering canned dog food, which we supplement with our dry dog food. And every time we order it, Chuck, what happens to our canned dog food when we get it?
Well, let's just say it doesn't look like it's in the best of condition when it gets here.
The cans are usually dented, and it's a no fault. Like, we've ordered from a couple different shippers, and it really doesn't matter who ships the dog food to us, the canned dog food. It always seems to get dented, and again, usually through no fault of the shipper. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on. But
international shipping is not the gentlest thing on packages.
No. So we decided, rather than do that, since I'm home and I have time, and I guess we wanted to fill up my time. Sure, we'll call it that. We decided that we would start making some. So the first project we made about 2 weeks ago. So the very first thing we're going to start with is grinding up our meat, which we won't bore you with that, but we'll get that started in just a moment. So we've already cut up our meat. We've got about 3 pounds. And for our meat today, we're using beef. We could go with duck. We could potentially go turkey, but we think one of our dogs may have a turkey issue, so we're not sure about turkey. But duck or pork. We cannot do chicken because we know that one of our dogs is allergic to chicken. So typically it's going to either be beef, duck, or pork. We could do fish, but neither one of us really can stand the smell of fish.
Yeah, that's a hard sell in this house.
So,
although the dogs love fish.
The dogs do love fish, and I'm really sorry, ladies, but no. So we're going with beef today, and beef was super successful last time. So we're going to stick with beef for this time. We may switch up for the next one. I've got 2 sweet potatoes in here that we're going to cut up, and we're going to boil and get them mashed down. And then we'll show you the rest of that once we come back, but we'll be back in just a bit.
So here we've got Melissa running some meat through the grinder, which is not an overly exciting process. It takes a little while. One thing to point out, as much as we do like our dogs, we are not buying expensive meat for the dogs.
What? No.
This is some standard old, like, what was it, like Chuck? Yeah.
However, we are not adding a lot of extra fat to it because we'd rather add healthy fat, so we cut off and trimmed off a lot of the bad fat.
Yeah, this is mainly just for the protein right here. It's maymesh.
She should just give it to me raw.
Maymesh. There's no Wagyu for you. I'm so sorry.
She said, I don't know what Wagyu is, but I wag my tail, maybe. Look,
no,
she did. She wagged her tail.
No Wagyu for you. So, as we mentioned, there's a couple peeled sweet potatoes ready to get done.
Yeah. I got some mashed banana.
Some mashed up nanners.
One of our dogs doesn't love banana, but the other 2 love it. So it's going in, and she's just going to have to deal since she likes everything else that's in it. I highly doubt she'll even notice it.
Well, she hasn't been complaining so far, so.
I highly doubt she's going to notice it. We've got some other things we'll add in, but we'll show you those to you as we add them. And this is Melissa's own recipe. And I would note that my recommendation to you, if you decide you want to do this, is talk to your vet first. I have approved this with our U.S. vet, and I have approved this with our Korean vet. Our U.S. vet happens to be my best friend back in the States, Jamie, Dr. Parnell. We love her. Shout out to her. Our dogs have supplements that they take, vitamins and all, that will basically compensate for a lot of what they might miss from a canned food, so we don't have to worry about that. So, just an FYI, talk to your vet before you decide to do this. And our dogs are still getting their kibbles, so they'll still get all of their nutrients. They're not missing out on anything. This is just extra.
Alright, so at the moment here, Melissa is pouring a little cranberry juice.
From frozen cranberries that I have prepped for the girls already. But I added it in so that basically it will help flavor some of the sweet potatoes, but also, because I'm about to add in a bag of frozen baby broccoli and a bag of cut leaf spinach, because these are veg that we know that our dogs love. And all this is going to basically be blended together. So
yeah, our dogs like spinach.
Basically, you go with what you know your dogs like. For me, I know all of them eat the ingredients that I just put in there. But the cranberries, you have to be careful with cranberries that you don't add too many. Our cranberries have already been cooked. I'm going to add them in when I blend everything up because that will disperse them amongst the food. So that'll be fine because it's being dispersed with everything else. So we should be good to go on that. But I'm gonna let this come to another boil and kind of cook down a little bit. That way it'll make it easier when I blend it because you don't want to try and blend frozen broccoli. It doesn't look very pretty.
I know. So we were about to fade into our next shot there, and we remembered we got
about a 1/4 cup of flaxseed that I want to add. So I'm going to go ahead and add it in now because I'm going to blend it in anyways. So.
Yep, hopefully the boiling in the hot water will soften those because we tried to grind them earlier.
It did not want to grind.
It did not work. So
flaxseed is good because it's got your omegas in it, so that'll be good for them. They'll enjoy that. I also will add some coconut oil and just a little bit. They do get their omegas even though we don't like fish. One of their foods is actually a white fish, so they do get fish.
Chucky Dog says, Omega! So the doggies are all in the kitchen because they're all excited because it's starting to smell and they know it smells like their good goods. We've taken to calling this the good goods.
Yeah, so we added about half of my bag of blueberries in there because Chuck thought going ahead and macerating them would be a good plan. So honestly, half of those in there is good.
At the moment, though, this smells like a boiled bag of grass clippings.
It kind of does. Everything else is overpowering.
Smells like boiled grass in like garden.
That spinach and broccoli together just overpowered everything else.
Yeah, this is just boiled garden. That's what it smells like.
Well, you told the girls earlier it was compost.
Well, you know when you take like all the old weeds and stuff and you roll them all up together and you let them rot so you can make compost out of it? It smells like somebody boiled that.
Mamie says she doesn't care.
See, they're not offended. She's like, that smells like dinner to me.
So the last time I made this, I did not put banana in it because we didn't have any bananas. So I would have put bananas if we'd had them. And I did not put any cranberry in because I didn't think about it at the time. Cranberry is good for their urinary health. So I'm adding that. And then I also forgot coconut oil because I didn't have any of that. So I've got about 2 tablespoons of coconut oil to add to it. But this makes a pretty good amount. And I actually had leftover of the veggie mixture last time, so they're getting a little extra veggie every once in a while, which they love. We're getting a good boil on now, so it should be soon to drain and blend.
You get to drain and mix and frappe it to
beautiful colors. I don't even know what color this is going to turn out to be with the cranberries added and the blueberries with the green. I don't know what color that'll. The last one ended up with the blueberries because the blueberries were frozen when they went in. They ended up being a green color with just the blueberries in it. So this one...
But with banana and cranberry and whatever else mixed in, who knows what it'll come out as. Might be purple.
Could be beautiful. If it's purple, you know Sookie will love it. That's her favorite.
All right. So we've boiled. We're about to drain. We've attached a little... It's semi-partial colander. So if you happen to have a plastic sink, which I have seen before, or you have fragile piping that you might be worried about, when you pour something hot into your sink, also run cold water so that you don't damage anything. We've got a steel sink and pretty robust pipes, so I'm not really worried about anything busting.
But here you go, here's some cold water.
If nothing else, I'll get Melissa to check the pipes later. Oh, yay!
It still has some liquid in it. I'm not worried about that. I'm going to go ahead and add my banana in. This is 3 bananas. Well, minus a couple licks that the girls had earlier. And I'll go ahead and put my cranberries in so they will get blended as well. And now
it's the frappe stick. Such a lovely sound.
I was thinking such a lovely color.
Strangely enough, now at the moment it reminds me of refried black beans, at least color-wise.
It's such a beautiful color.
Look at that. It's almost the same color as the table.
So now I'm gonna add the other half of the blueberries in. They are frozen, but because this is hot, they will not be frozen for long. But that also gives the girls a little bit of consistency, and they really like that in their last meal.
A little blueberry chunkiness.
They like that. So here's where people might be confused, because you're looking at all this mixture and going, oh my. All of this doesn't actually end up in the meat. So basically when I pull the meat out, I will start compiling it all together, but that is why I did not add the eggs and the oil to it, because some of this may actually be extra for the next time that we make it. And that way we don't have to make everything over again. So we're gonna get the meat out of the fridge and
on to the next step.
All right, so we are back. I'm gonna start assembling. This is basically like putting together a meatloaf. Maybe I need to do a meatloaf video. I do love meatloaf.
Meatloaf.
Meatloaf is good.
Don't let your meatloaf.
All right, so we're putting all of our meat into my big bowl here. And here's where I'm gonna go ahead and incorporate the coconut oil as well as the egg. I have 4 eggs that I have already mixed. Add those in. And this is basically gonna be done by hand, guys, so it gets gross. You could probably...
You want some gloves? We got gloves.
You could probably put gloves on. I always do my meatloaf by hand. I don't know why. And there's the 2 tablespoons of coconut oil. That's just a good healthy fat. And the girls always need some good healthy fat. So first I'm gonna go ahead and incorporate the egg. The egg is that binding agent. I'm gonna go ahead and get that good and incorporate it in here. I have an audience over there. May May is very curious. All right, so now I'm gonna start adding this in, and I will actually mix this with a spoon to see what my consistency is, because you don't want too much in there. I can generally tell by hand feel. Now, some people could use rice in their recipe. We would love to be able to, because Suki Dog loves her some rice.
Yeah, bran rice would go really good in it.
However, I have one dog that if she has rice doesn't poop. So rice is not good for us. We could use oats. I have thought about putting oats in it, but I kind of liked it without the actual, we're using the sweet potato as their kind of binder, and this is almost just about right, I believe. Basically, at this point, I'm mostly just trying to make sure all that meat is incorporated in.
You do want it to be a little bit loose because you are going to cook it and it's going to tighten up, but you don't want it soupy. Sloppy Joe-ish, I think, is about the right consistency.
By feeling it, I can tell that it's not going to bind together the way that I want it to. So I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of sweet potato flour, which is a good binder. You could use regular flour if you chose. At this point, I could add oatmeal if I wanted to, but I think I'd rather just add some of the sweet potato flour. So I'm going to do about 2 tablespoons of that and see how that feels.
Sweet potato flour. Thank you, Korea.
Suki Dog's like, you said sweet potato. Yeah, that's going to work. So before it was just a tad too loose, and that banana I knew was going to make it a little more loose. And I was right about that. I just didn't realize when I added that extra scoop that that was going to be what did it. But this is perfect. Basically, I want to be able to stick to the spoon, because I know that it will hold together as a meatball then. All right, so we are at the point now where we are making these. One note that I would like to make, because I have been kind of comparing it a little bit to meatloaf and meatballs, we do actually want this to crumble. Because when we put it in the dog bowl, we want it to come apart, which is why the insides of it are a little bit more mushy, I would say. But we want it to be able to crumble because it's not actually to be eaten like a meatloaf or a meatball.
Yeah,
they don't have forks.
It actually gets mushed up with some water and turned into, well, basically a dog food.
You'll see it in a little bit. So I'm gonna lightly spray. Last time I did this, I did not spray, and it turned out okay, but just to be on the safe side, I'm gonna do a light spray of Pam to make sure that we don't have anything that sticks. But it basically ends up being a rounded tablespoonful of dog food. I'll show you that in just a second, but let me get a spray on my 2 pans. The oven is preheated to 300. And then I'm just gonna roll them into meatballs and place. You could also use, if you want to do it with muffin tins, you could do it in a muffin tin and then put your muffin tin liners in. But I didn't want to waste that much.
It also depends on the size of your dog. These meatballs work for our dogs.
Right.
For, one meatball is basically one meal mixed up with their dry food and some liquid. If you had a bigger dog, like a beagle or something, you might want to do two.
Might want to do a meatloaf.
If you had like a big dog, like a German Shepherd or a Mastiff or something, you scale accordingly. You either make them little mini meatloaves, or you just give them multiple meatballs.
This works really well for ours. In fact, interesting story. Minion is our pickiest of our eaters, wouldn't you say, Chuck?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so there are days when we have to add extra stuff to Minion's food to get her to eat.
She will straight turn her nose up at a meal and be like, yeah, I don't want it.
Yeah. So we've actually bought some of Stella and Chewy's like meal toppers, which she loves. So like she gets her super beef on it and she's happy. Well, for a while there, she was being really picky. The first day when I made this, literally, I never told them that I was making it for them unless they can really understand me and they understood when I was saying that. I don't know. But it was dinner time and we were watching YouTube videos. Minion literally walked into the kitchen and sat there, and they were all on the counter, already done, already ready. And she sat there and she barked at the meatballs to let us know that she wanted it. She wanted it now. So we got a kick out of that.
So we are going to fill up some pans and oven cook some meatballs, and we will be back.
All right, so we have baked all of these. They're done, which means that this section is done. I did have a whole section of veg that I put in the fridge. I'm gonna go back and grab some more meat, and I'll probably make some more either tomorrow or Monday. But I did realize that I forgot one veg that they really love and I did not put in there. I forgot zucchini. Last time I grated up zucchini, and the zucchini does help hold that meatball together a little bit more. So I will probably grate another zucchini to throw in with that before I make the next section of them. But we have, I think we decided about 10 or 11 days worth here. We made them a little bit bigger this time. Some of them last time were not as uniform as these are. These are actually all about the same size, except for maybe the last few that I made because I was stretching it. We will feed the girls for you so you can see their response. So we've got, basically, they each get one each meal, so that's 3. So I put enough for each meal in and try and squeeze in, like, I think we get like 2 or 3 in a bag.
I get about 2 days in a bag or something, 3 days in a bag.
At least 2 in a bag, yeah. I think it's like 3 maybe. Of course, last time we had little meat loaves, so that kind of made a difference as well. But bottom line, I already have a beggar in the kitchen waiting for it. Do you see that, Chuck?
Yeah. If you're in the kitchen, so your dog is begging, that's pretty much standard.
So I think I usually put about 12 in there. I think that was what we did last time. 12 to a bag.
All right. Yeah, that looks about right.
So that's what, 2 days? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we use 6 in a day. So, and then I'm going to save out some of the freshly made one, even though we've already got some thawed out. I'll save the freshly made one out for the girls to have for their dinner tonight, so we can video that.
And that helps because you can individually bag like 2 days worth of food for them, throw them in the freezer, and then just the day you're on your last bag, you throw a new bag in the fridge and let it de-thaw overnight.
I will be making a bunch of this very soon because I am going stateside and I don't want Chuck to have to come home from work, and I'll just make his life a little bit easier because, that's supposed to be what I'm supposed to be doing, right? Then part of my job. Is that, you're not commenting on that?
Yep.
And ours, since we're not making a ton of them ahead of time, we're not also worrying about like how long they're in the freezer for, because they're not really in the freezer all that long.
Yeah, these things are in the freezer for at most like 2 weeks.
Yeah, so I mean the next section that I make, they'll be frozen a little bit longer, but not that much longer. Nothing to worry about.
Yeah, we didn't show it when she put it away, but there's probably enough of that veggie mix left to do a whole nother run of this.
At least one more, yeah, if not 1.5.
So if you double the meat, you can make about a month's worth of dog food. Dinner, yay.
Ah, I gotta get more bags too.
Wow, didn't that just work out?
That worked out perfectly.
All right, so we are gonna put stuff away and clean up, and we will see y'all at dinner so you can see how much the doggies like this.
Hey guys, we're back. We have our meatballs. These are meatballs that we made today for the girls. I'm gonna pop them in the microwave for about 30 seconds. That gets Minion really excited about dinner. Something about smelling, I guess, her good goods. And as you can see, I have 2 guests in the kitchen. You like the good goods?
And there's another one stalking around out
You
here.
want the good goods, May May?
Oh, there she goes.
May May. Oh, Minnie's like, I heard good goods. I'm here for the good goods. Minnie Moo, do you love the good goods? I'm just gonna make it for you. So 30 seconds, and then 1 for each of them. And then literally I just stick my spoon and smash it. And then I'll add a little bit of water because I'm putting meds in. Meds and supplements, basically. And you guys don't need to see all their meds and supplements. I have old dogs. They got issues. So
Old dogs, like old people, got plenty of drugs they have to take.
let me add drugs and I'll show you their food, and then we'll show you what they think of their food. It's coming, babies.
All right, so we got dog food all mixed up. I'm sure y'all really want to see what the dog food looks like.
Yeah, well, you know. There you go. All right.
So there we go. Like no doggy complaints, no waiting,
What's the first thing Minion ate?
no.
You know the other thing I forgot to put in this? I just remembered the other thing that I didn't put. I didn't put chickpeas. Last time I put a can of chickpeas in.
Oh, all right.
That's the other thing. So
there's plenty of stuff you can put in this stuff.
yeah.
You don't have to put it all in every meal. You can do a little variations, but
Yeah.
Even Minnie Moo, the picky dog, went straight to the good goods.
Mimu, I only like the good goods. That's my favorite. Mayhem would eat it faster if she didn't have that bowl.
Yeah, if she could actually physically get her face to it faster, there
and
would be no
Sookie both.
stopping her. Sookie Dog's not really far behind.
No.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen.
It's actually an original recipe.
Yeah, not one we've sourced from somewhere
I have
else
not
and
sourced
changed.
it from anyone else. I literally just came up with all the things they liked, double checked with the vet, and made sure that everything was good. They said yes, and there we are.
And made them a healthy meatball.
I made them all a meatballs. And I've gotten no complaints about these meatballs.
Yep.
No one has written a bad review.
There have been no bad Yelp reviews yet.
Actually, I think the only Yelp review we got was they wanted more.
Yeah.
So make sure you like, subscribe, do the internet thing. We'll see you guys next time, and maybe we'll do doggy pizzas for the girls at some point, because I have been promising them that. I've just got to figure out exactly
How to make a pizza for a dog.
Well, no, I know I have the general concept. I just got to figure out what I'm putting on it. I've already got an idea. I just have to put it into fruition. And the doggy meatball will come back into play for that. Because if you're going to make a doggy pizza, they got to have some meat on their pizza, right?
Oh, there you go.
So now I've got doggy meatballs, so we can have a meatball pizza.
Hey.
Hey! But yeah, like, subscribe, do the internet thing, comment, let us know what you think. You got thoughts, you got ideas, tell us. If there's something you want us to look at videoing, maybe we'll do it.